like a boss.
What's up, ladies? It's Alex from Mindful Attraction 2.0, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about why it's so difficult to read men, why you find it difficult to understand men, and why you find them so eluding, why it's difficult to read their signs, and why you always get played by them. You thought you knew them until you find out he has 3 kids and a YouTube channel, right? Not talking about myself. I don't have 3 kids. I have 2. But seriously though, why is that? All right. So one of the themes that I've been pondering about this whole week has been on a phrase that I've been contemplating on from Robert Greene's book, The 33 Strategies of War, and it's this phrase: our desires narrow the scope of our visions. In other words, but our desires narrow the scope of our vision. In other words, truly, is that your desire for a relationship causes you to give the person the benefit of the doubt consistently.
Don't forget, people, we're having 50% off all of our courses using the coupon code MINDFUL. That means you can purchase Nice Girl, that means you can purchase the Psychological Game of Attraction, and Natural Chemistry, all at 50% off. So click on the description down below, put the coupon code MINDFUL, and I'll see you guys inside.
You sort of go in there, not innocent, you sort of go in there in a way like innocent till proven guilty, the perfect man until proven otherwise. As opposed to, I don't know who you are, prove yourself to me. You're making an irrational decision when you just want a relationship, and what fuels you is that deep, intense desire to find happiness through a relationship. What tends to happen is that you begin to develop a shit ton of blind spots. You sort of don't see what's obvious to everyone else. So what you have to do is insert some rationality in order to overcompensate for your lack of rationality. And it's not because you're a bad person or because you're stupid, but because humans are not rational. We are irrational creatures by nature. It goes against our nature to think into the future, even though it goes against our desires. That's why people don't want to think about death, because they want to live forever. But if they think about the ramifications of living forever, they begin to see a very dull and dark future, a future where they're not surrounded by the people who they loved, because we will all experience death. Sorry, anyways, going out of the topic. So what are some possible solutions to fix this problem of losing that scope and that vision of what's important and what's not important? Well, you got to first become aware of that intense desire to find a relationship, to find happiness in a relationship. Notice when you first started getting with this guy, did you feel a connection you never felt before? Does it feel special? I'm not asking about whether or not that's valid. What I'm asking you is, do you feel intense emotions towards this person? Because for the most part, it's not that you feel intense emotion because of some traits that he has, possibly, but you feel an intense emotion because you guys just clicked. You don't know why you guys clicked, but you guys just clicked. Chemistry has no rational purpose. There's no rational reason why you feel connection with someone. You just feel it. Those are chemicals. But our consciousness, our rational mind, rationalizes those emotions in order for it to make sense. You say that you guys have a connection because you guys also love to do this together, and you think that the connection is because you guys love because of some rational reason. No, there might be the reason why you guys have connections because you guys just click. But that doesn't mean that if you really look into the hidden cost of being with him, that doesn't mean that emotion should supersede the logic behind the fact that there are some traits in this person that if you really look inside, you'll find it doesn't blend in with your future. It doesn't blend in with what you plan to do in your goals. And so because of that, because if you don't want to find out the truth, you allow yourself to dwell into those emotions. Your intense desire for a relationship blinds you. So that's what the reason is, because you have intense desires. And so the guy may show you some negative signs, some signs of him being inconsistent, but because of the emotion they feel is so intense, you say, that doesn't make any sense. You know, he tells me he loves me, but his actions say otherwise. Let me find some validation. Let me find something that tells me, that goes with this emotion. I don't want this to be the truth. You know? What's one of the first steps in grieving when you lose someone? Denial. A lot of people are in denial. When you have this intense desire for a relationship, you will walk around in denial. A guy will hurt you and you won't see those negative traits because you only focus on the good things. So he'll tell you, baby, but I love you. Baby, but we should get a house together and be together. And so what happens is that those promises of happiness, those promises to fulfill your fantasy, what you always want in life, will distract you from the fact, will distract you from manipulation, will distract you from the hidden cost of being with him. So it's your own desire to be happy is what's blinding you. It's what's causing you not to really know the guy. So what do you do with that? How can you fix this? You have to realize that the remedy towards this isn't in finding a solution in the external. The remedy towards this is how you relate to yourself. It's how friendly are you with yourself? Are you trying to find a relationship out of a desire to escape who you are? Because being with this person will allow you to experience a new sense of self that's better than this person whom you think you are? Or do you want a relationship because you just want to experience a relationship? You just want to experience the joy of being in one, not because you hate yourself, not because you don't like who you are, not because you sort of have this self-hatred towards yourself. And you might say, but I don't feel hate towards myself. I'm not saying that you feel downright hatred, but the fact that you want a relationship because you think you think your worth as a person will increase. And how do I know this? Because if you really look at the image that you see when you think of being in a relationship, this person whom you see in your mind, you're more proud of that person. That's the person who you want to show the world. You don't want to show this person who you are. You want to show this person of being in the relationship. That's why when you find it, that's all you start posting is look who I am. Look, I'm happy. Look, I'm so much better. Look at my boyfriend. Aren't I special? Look, I fulfilled what's valuable towards the world. Look at me. I'm so much better. But when you guys break up, you keep that low. Or you may post them, or you may blast them, your dick is small, all that bullshit. So what's really happening is that you're using this person to relate to your pain. You're trying to love yourself. So what you have to do is find fulfillment within yourself. Because your desire for a relationship is really because of your lack of connection with yourself. You're trying to connect with yourself through a relationship. So what you have to do is connect with yourself first. How do you do that? It's not through changing yourself out of a desire to be someone else because you don't like who you are, but rather you connect with you change yourself because you know that's what's friendly. That's the most loving thing you could do towards yourself. And because you're trying to escape who you are. So whenever you feel that desire towards a relationship, become aware of that desire. Become aware of the infatuation you experience when you love someone. Because it's those people who you gotta be careful the most, because those are the people who you have the biggest blind spots. Is your desire to keep everything straight, your desire to keep everything aligned and happy is what will cause you to not see who people really are. So you got to begin judging people based on a different standard, and not judge people by how by what you want to see out of them. First, notice your fantasy. What do you want out of this? And notice how your desire for that fantasy gives people the benefit of the doubt. You want to stay as friends, but you notice your friend is a little treacherous. So rather than facing that issue, you sort of justify, oh, maybe they're just like this because of this. And you don't face it because you don't want to face the facts that if you confront the person, you may lose them. It's your desire to keep everything how it is now that's causing you to have those blind spots. So you got to face it full on. And what's going to happen is that in the facing, you're going to experience a lot of pain and resistance. And that pain may lead you towards backing off or even giving them the benefit of the doubt again, because facing them might mean change. It might mean you're having to lose them. And you don't want that, because you might experience pain. But when you experience that pain, that's where that's where things begin to happen. Are you going to run away from it through finding another relationship and you're going to be in the same trap? Or are you going to run towards it and face that pain? Be friendly with that pain. Deal with the pain almost as though you're dealing with a child who's in pain. Bring it towards yourself and love it. Anytime you feel the pain, you say, I see you pain. And really feel love for that pain. It's different. You related to your pain differently now. Embrace your pain. Be friendly with it. Love your pain. Notice how that feels. Do you feel pain right now? Be friendly with your pain and notice how that feels at this moment. You might begin. There's a video on that. Just watch videos on just. There's some videos on that. I don't have enough time to talk about this. I'm actually making a course about this. But that's how you do it. And once you're able to see through that, then begin to see. Once you're able to face your pain, you're gonna notice is that now when you think of the person, you may not think of them with that same bias. And now begin to analyze their behavior. Begin to see them, but not through your desire for a relationship, but from a place of fulfillment. Who are you? I'm trying to get to know you. Don't try to project the fantasy. Get to know them. That's a different approach. You see what I'm saying? Because when we're with someone where we just want them to pass. We just want them to pass. We don't want to deal with the struggle of having to find out that you're not compatible. Because what may happen is that you may have to keep searching, and searching is painful. Not in this case. Go towards your pain. Experience what you don't want to experience. And your perception of the world will be a lot clearer. Another thing that I didn't include in the video is about getting to know a guy. Again, you have your desires also, right? But then you gotta have something more important, and that's what you want out of someone, so that you could contrast what you want, like what you want before you were like emotionally invested, like what kind of relationship, what kind of guy you want, what kind of relationship you wanted, what kind of traits you wanted, right? And then use that ideal guy and compare him to that ideal guy, so that you can see what he lacks. You see, and also notice if there's any passive aggression. Passive aggression is big, and passive aggression will also hide who he is as well. So how does passive aggression look like? Passive aggression looks like in ways that he's doing something, but you just don't want to confront them. He's doing something, and he acts like nothing really happened, right? Any fear of confronting him, any fear of wanting to offend him because he might lose you, might be a sign, might be signs of passive aggression being used against you. You see, so for example, if you notice that he's late towards dates and then he plays it off, or when you ask him to do something, he sort of tries to circumvent the conversation and tries to play it off, and you just don't want to push on the issue because you don't want to be that girl. You don't want to be that pushy girl. You don't want to be that girl that he complains about. That's another form of passive aggression. So any fear of getting him angry, any fear of getting his disapproval will squint your vision, and you will never get to know him. So something that's important is that if you notice that there are negative traits in him in the beginning, do not try to change it. You know, like don't try to give him, hey baby, maybe you should. No, let him be who he is. You know, stop trying to fit him in your own model of what a perfect man. Let him be who he is, and see where it goes. Right. Another thing is don't put out your standards too obvious. Like what you expect out of a guy, don't put it out there. You know, be vague about what you like and don't like in him, so that he doesn't say, oh, so since I know she wants a loyal guy, let me put the front of a loyal guy. You see what I'm saying? If you're noticing that he has a trait of being a player, rather than showing his approval, don't just say nothing. Oh shit, that's fucking right. Don't say nothing. Actually, don't even complain. Let him be who he is, so that he can slowly show you who you are. Because if you want the perfect relationship, is that when you see a negative sign, it's kind of like if somebody scratches your car, your perfect car, you want to keep it perfect. So what do? As soon as you see a scratch, you try to fucking fix that easily. You let that shit be. See where it goes, because he may show you who he is. You see, it's all about letting the person be who he is, and it's all about just noticing how deep are your blind spots, and try to find a way to overcompensate for your blind spots through looking about what would happen if you stay with him, and seeing how his traits will match up with your future, like seeing the hidden costs of being with him, how being with him would affect your self-esteem, how being with him would affect certain habits, what you gotta sacrifice of being with him. Also getting other people's opinions. See, you know, like telling people what's going on and seeing their opinion. Somebody who's detached from the situation. Not just one person, but multiple people. Do not rely on one source, because sometimes the girl might be trying to get them. You know what I'm saying? If you ask just one person, they may have some material motives. So ask multiple people that you trust. And also look at his past behaviors. You know, don't look at his past behaviors. Like for example, when you get to know him, Don't ask him directly if you ever cheated on someone. Try to find the indirect route. Try to find about who he is in an indirect manner. You know, like I try to find out about his previous relationships in an indirect manner. And let him know that you're not judging him, just to find out. You see what I'm saying? Let me see if I missed another point. And yeah. I think that's good for now. Anyways, it's Alex from mindfulattraction.org.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys ever want to learn how to use your feminine energy to influence people, learn how to use your masculine energy to become more assertive, and also learn how to blend both energies to improve your dating life, your spiritual life, honestly, your relationship life, your family life, your career life, this is the course for you. If I had to make a course for my nieces, I have two nieces, one is 19 and one is 15. 16. Holy shit. Oh my God, he's a bad fucking uncle. He's a bad uncle. Get him. Shut up, Melissa. You should get this course, right? And this is the course that I will make for them. So, for example, watch the curriculum, right? In the first week, we're going to be showing you how to establish a strong masculine foundation without letting it hurt your feminine energy. This masculine foundation is a source of who you are, right? It's your bodyguard. Without this, whatever feminine energy you create will be destroyed by the outside, because your masculine is your shield. So we'll talk about goal setting. We'll talk about how to develop a serious attitude. We're going to be talking about how to use more logic, how to use more goal-oriented behavior. It's more how to be a man. Now the next one is how to embrace the feminine energy, right? This one will teach you about how to minimize excessive masculine traits, developing self-awareness, healing abundant feminine energy, regulating your emotion, mastering voice qualities and facial expressions, surrendering control, and allowing pain to be felt. This is honestly, this will supercharge, like Kaioken, your masculine energy. After that, we have femininity in the workplace, and how to be feminine in the workplace without letting people take advantage of you, and the nuances of how women on power should behave versus women who are subordinates in the workplace, and even the dress code. This is based on psychology, people. It's kind of insane. I'm actually excited about this one. The next week, we talk about navigating the labyrinth of male and female friendship, and this a lot of women find confusing, so we talk about that. And how to identify envious friends, how to identify the good friends, how to keep male friends, and how to keep female friends. Week 5, we talk about how to release the burden of the past and stop and destroy mental projections. This is actually really powerful. And then week 6, we talk about how to increase your observational power so that you could read people better. And we have a bunch of bonuses. The course starts at $99, and you guys can pre-order the course today at $69 before it goes out. If you're watching this, most likely I'm in the meditation retreat, so I will be praying for all of you guys. And just click on the description down below of the video, right there, you'll see it, and you could pre-order that course. It's gonna be out by the end of next month or the beginning of February of March. One of the two, people, because I have a 10-day retreat to do, and I want to finish the course after the retreat, because I think the ideas are gonna be so much better. All right, man. I'll see you guys later. Pre-order, man. Oh, I'm closing the channel.